All right, and I'm going to start the stream now. Okay, you're good to go.
Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, January 19th, 2022. My name is Ava. I will be facilitating the call tonight along with my co facilitator, HERSHI. And this is an open forum for anyone with questions or issues with their Android phone, tablet, Alexa device, Google device, Fire tablet, anything that's on the Android platform. Um, and this, if you want to learn how to use the accessibility features of these devices and just become more proficient with them. I want to say welcome to everyone who have joined tonight and who are listening to this podcast via the recording and also on the ACB community live stream. We have a few rules that we would like everyone to follow during this. One, we just ask that if you would please stay muted until you have a question to ask. And when you unmute yourself, please wait, state your name, and wait until you are recognized by myself or by HERSHI, the co-facilitator. Please remember, we're trying to keep down background noise because our session is being recorded so that people can come back and listen to this at a later date. We're trying to keep it as a clean recording so that there's not that much background or interfering noise. To mute, if you are on the PC, it's Alt A. If you're on a Mac, it's Command Shift A. If you're on your iPad, it's in the top center. If you're on your iPhone, it's the bottom left. If you're on an Android phone, it's the bottom left. And if you're calling in via telephone line, it is *6. You just remember, we do not raise hands. So we just ask that you state your name and wait till someone address you to speak. And that is it right now. So I want to turn it over to Sandhya, and she has our updates for iBUG.
All right, thank you, Ava. So for the rest of the week, we have tomorrow we'll be having Trekkie Talk on the same Zoom conference line from 8 to 9:30, talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 13. Then Friday night, iBUG night at the virtual movies. We'll be watching In the Heat of the Night. Then Saturday, we have our Apple workshop, and that will be talking about all kinds of accessories. It's our virtual show and tell. So that's going to be lots of fun. That'll be 2 to 4 Central Time. And the best way to get information about our organization and the services we provide is ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. That way you can get notifications of upcoming events. And then we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBugToday. And Twitter is at iBugToday. Thank you, Ava.
All right. Thank you, Sandhya. And as everybody knows, this is the iBUG Android Insight Call. We have a list that you can come and join is iBUG Android Insight plus subscribe at groups.io. And my co-host, Hershey, I'd like to introduce him right now. Okay, so the Google guy is here. But so what I want to do right now, we're going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves. If this is your first time on the call, please introduce who you are and where you're from and how did you hear about our call and what Android device you have. So we can start our meeting.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Mincy. I'm glad to join again. I haven't been to one of the calls in a while. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I currently don't have an Android device, and one of my questions tonight is I'm looking to acquire an Android device just to become familiar and wanted to get people's recommendations and suggestions.
Okay, well, welcome, Rhonda.
This is Scott from Arizona. Haven't been here in a while, but I have been here before. I believe the only Android thing I have close to Android right now is the Blaze from HIMS, which I believe is built on the Android platform.
Well, welcome, Scott.
All right.
This is Nikki from San Francisco.
Yes, welcome, Nikki.
Hi, thank you very much. This is a wonderful program. And I'm thinking about switching from iPhone to Android, and I'd like to learn as much about it as possible. And I got an email about this program, and I also saw that it was on ACB Community. And I've been a member of iBUG for about a year, and I found out about iBUG through Brad, who's a co-host today, on Old Time Radio. So there are all kinds of things going on the phone, but I would really want to find out about an Android and whether or not it would be a good idea for me to switch from an iPhone. So thank you so much, and
Well,
I'm going to enjoy listening.
Well, welcome, Nikki. We hope to convert you.
Hi, this is Nellie from Santa Maria, California.
Welcome, Nellie.
Hi, I have a Samsung Galaxy A71, and I've been using Android phones since 2014, but there's always something to learn. And I heard about iBUG through the Trekkie group a while back.
Oh, well, welcome.
Hi, my name is Nancy Unger, and I have a Smart Vision 2. I know people think, Smart Vision. It's an Android phone with buttons made overseas. I've been a member of iBUG for quite some time. I have a question later. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Nancy, and welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I have been on the call before, and I have a Galaxy S10. I do not know the numbers to it. I just know that that's what it is. And I would love to be refreshed on a lot of the things that I have been taught prior. And I thank you all. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Rachel. We're glad you're back.
Well, welcome. This is Hershey, and from Central Florida. Thank you again to Rachel for coming back. I remember you from last year, so happy 2022 for everybody. And I guess we could get the show on the road, and if any more introductions are there.
Yeah. Okay, so, and yes, I do want to say welcome to 2022, our first show of the new year. So we're happy to be here. We're happy that everybody has joined us, and I'm glad for the new faces as well. So
Most definitely. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through.
Yeah, and well, I want to start this show off with I talked with Hershey about it, and we both believe in promoting everybody who does Android. So we have the blind Android users out there on YouTube, and they do what's called an app a week. And a couple of weeks ago, they demonstrated this one app called Raise to Answer. And all you do is once you install the app, and you can rate, once you raise the phone up to your ear, it'll beep like 4 times and then it will pick up. Or if you want to hang up a call, all you do is turn it face down and it will, oh, I can't even think of the word now. It will hang up that call. So, and that app is called Raise to Answer.
Ava, is it free?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. It's a free app.
That was my next question.
Yes, so if you want to see more about it, they do have a short clip on the Bryant Android users on YouTube. If you sign up on our list, the iBUG Android Insight list, I try to send out whenever they do a new app, just send the link so that if you're not, if you're not a YouTuber, at least this way you can keep up with some of the new apps that they are out there promoting. So,
And Ava, just another reminder to the listeners. I know there isn't a such thing as Apple Vis type of thing for since Apple users are so familiar with Apple Vis. I would say that Warren has been on this show a couple times, and they've done a good job of capturing different categories, so shopping or exercising and such that. So it's a good resource to go back to. And then we always like to bring on Warren and others from the community. So this is a good place so we could discuss it. And so when we have questions and answers of I got a new phone and or I need a new phone, and I've heard that about 2-3 times in introductions. So just remember that it's there's a lot of resources out there, but sometimes we might not know which direction to look into. And it's all about the community. And again, a big shout out to the ACB community for hosting us tonight. So I'll keep it passing along to Ava.
okay, let's go
This
ahead
is
and
Sheree.
yeah, yes, Cherie.
I just had a question about that app that you just mentioned.
Yes.
How does it determine to hang up when it's face down? Like, could it hang up if the phone is, I'm just trying to figure out what determines the hang up.
Well, it will only do an incoming call. So it will reject that call.
Oh, I see. Okay. It was not a hang up of ending a call. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
would just reject the incoming call.
Hello, Ava.
Yes. Hello, Foster. Welcome.
This is Foster Brown from Houston. Hi, Nellie from California. And
Hey, Foster. Wow. Good to hear your voice.
And I have a OnePlus 8 and a Chromebook and a couple of Echoes and a couple of Google Chromecasts and Google Chromecast with YouTube TV.
Well, so I think you got your title
Foster.
screwed up. That's Chromecast with Google TV.
Yeah, that's
not
it.
YouTube TV. Yeah, it's a tongue twister, but just to keep everybody's
right. Yeah, Chromecast
title
with
straight.
Google TV.
Because whenever you're on
right.
Google, it's like I can't find this. So
Yeah. All
And
right.
this is Kevin,
Yes, Kevin.
Boston. I have the Pixel 4, Pixel 6 Pro, Galaxy S21, Chromecast with Google TV, Nest devices, Google devices, and 2 Chromebooks. Technically, they're Works Chromebooks, but they're mine for now. So
there you go.
hey, so Ava, we were the other discussions that we had. We were talking about the different apps we could find. What about if we got a new phone? Did you kind of sync that in, or did that conversation? Did you think about that one?
I haven't finished looking at that one yet.
Well, let me explain to the audience what I was talking to Ava about. Is Ava, was just had purchased her Note 20, and she had another device, which is a tablet, the other night, and she's like, "Man, I want to go catch that iBUG movie night tonight because it was a really good movie." And so the thing was, is as she was using her tablet, she had just basic settings. It was just a Samsung tablet, as I recall. But I recall for my usage case, I like using Gboard. I like using specific settings like high contrast. How do I go about changing that, or how do I make sure it follows me? And one quick thing, I know that Gboard does it, and maybe Kevin or anybody else wants to, showcase how to quickly do it. But you could take your Gboard settings and then take it across all your devices. So if you had special dictionaries and words and such, that you're just any device you pick up, you just basically logging into your Gmail account and you follow that keyboard around with you. And that could be really helpful because you know how it works. You don't have to learn something different. Or, Samsung, sometimes the keyboard might act a little funky, it might be typing a little too quick. So that's a little tip that me and her were talking about the other night. And there are a few settings. Maybe we'll get the write up a little bit edged out a little bit better for you guys, and we might have something for you guys on the list.
Okay. Yes. So
Did we have some internet issues possibly there? In any case, if we have any questions out there in the audience, let us know.
This is Nellie.
Go ahead, Nelly.
I am considering getting a Samsung watch, and I know very little about it, but if anybody has any tips or information about that, I would like to know.
Well, Miss Nelly, I guess you're on blast, but Miss Nelly from California would like to know about Samsung watches. So, if anybody could please help her, I know we have some people that have watches. So, any insight on this?
Okay, this is Kevin from Austin. I have the Galaxy Watch 4. This is the first Galaxy Watch where you have to, it can only be used with another Android device, and there are certain features, certain health features that you can only access by having a Samsung phone. But the rest of the features should work with any Android phone. A Galaxy Watch or Galaxy Gear, previous versions will work with iOS or Android, but this one, and this might be a Wear OS thing going forward. So when the Google Watch comes out in the next few months, that will probably be the case too. But watches before you could use with both platforms. I like mine. I'm just getting used to using it for the watch. I bought it mostly for fashion because I'm not using any of the health stuff since I'm sitting at home all day anyway. but the only thing is that it has a high quality voice on there, and so sometimes I can hear a little bit of a stutter in there, but I think there's a different voice that I can use. Like if I use the Google text to speech, then it becomes much snappier. But that's the only thing that I've noticed. But all the other stuff works. The music playback, Bixby is the only assistant that it can use right now, but the Google Assistant is supposed to be coming, but it does everything that I want it to do as far as answering questions, setting timers, telling me how many steps I have that day, just anything you would want to do. The assistant works. There's literally no part of the watch that's not accessible. So.
Well, thank you. I'm interested in the health features, and I'm wondering if it has a heart rate monitor.
Yes, it has a heart rate monitor, and several other things, the blood oxygen, um, the blood pressure monitor, sleep tracker. Oh, there are so many health things that it has on there. And those are some of the tiles that are on the front panel, you know, the home screen. And I have the one that has the rotating dial. So you can either flick to those items or you can turn the dial to get to the item you want. And so you basically have the same information you have on your phone, you have on your watch. But I have the LTE model. So those things work even when I'm away from my phone, if I'm not anywhere near my phone.
Hey, Kevin, to add to that, the differences, do you have both Google Health and Samsung Health to be able to utilize along with Nike and everything else that's available in the athletic side?
I only use the Samsung Health on my watch and on my Galaxy S21. I use Google Fit on my non-Samsung devices. But
Okay, so but it is available, perhaps, maybe. Just the
yes,
reason why I'm
you can
thinking is
download either
you
one.
might have two watches, you might have worked out on one, you want your
Yes.
information to be spread.
No, you can download either one. You can set up different profiles, even though it's one watch, but you can still set up different profiles. So if you did have two watches or whatever, but yeah, you can set up one profile or do one. If you think that Google Fit does something better, then you can do that with Google Fit.
All right, here's $1 million for 2022. Is it accessible?
Google Fit?
The watch, the device.
Google. Yes, there's
everything.
like I said, everything is accessible, and you have most of the full talkback. So even if you come across an unlabeled button, you can label the buttons and stuff like that. Like it has talkback instead of voice assistant, which was really great also. But now you basically, some of the things you do slightly different than you do on talkback, but you can still get into the menu and label buttons and stuff.
Thank you so much for that, Kevin. And Ms. Nelly, if that satisfies your question, anything else I
Well,
can answer?
well, and also,
Yes, thank you.
and also, this is Ava. Nelly, the watch has a feature for swimming as well.
Yes.
So just to let you know, if you swim, that the watch does have a feature for that.
Yeah, this is Foster. Also, I was wondering because I have a Galaxy Watch 2. The one thing that I really loved about it is you didn't have to go on a watch and then say I'm about to work out. It just seems to recognize the type of activity that you're doing. I love that feature. Because I like power walk sometimes. And so after I've been power walking a couple of minutes, then it automatically kicks in to see that I'm working out and it's monitoring my heart rate and all that. So I love that feature.
Hi, this is Nancy. May I ask a question?
Yes, Nancy.
Hi. It's a strange, I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but I have Cricket. I have an unlocked phone, a foreign-made phone. It's not their phone. They tell me that I have to switch to 5G or they won't let me use my phone. And they claim that, and I said, well, what do you mean I have an unlocked phone? And they said, well, they claim there are a couple of phones with buttons, with the touch screen buttons, A12 and the Motorola G Stylus. Have any of you heard of these phones? I never even knew. And why do I have to switch to 5G? I mean, I have a 4G phone, and I don't understand I think I might be getting misinformation. Thank you. I'm not sure.
Not a problem. Ava, should we first crack down on this 5G, 4G? Because it's even talking about airplanes, and it's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah. We can go.
Well,
Anybody has an answer for her? Yes.
Yeah, this is Kevin. The simple answer to the question. So the 5G part, I mean, that part they can address that. But those two, I don't know what you're saying. They have buttons. There's no buttons on the A12 and there's no buttons on the Stylus. as far as nothing further than volume up, volume down, power. Those are
I
still
see. There
touch
no.
screens
It's
phone.
just a
And
flat screen. Just
right.
okay. Just a flat
It's
screen.
just a flat
Technically, it is
screen.
2 buttons: the volume rocker and the power button. Those are your 2
Yep.
types of physical buttons.
Oh wow. Okay.
But so what I wanted to rewind just to give everybody this mind frame, because we were seeing it on the news with the 5G and airplanes. What does it mean? Well, what's happening is we used to use old phones, like if we all remember the iPhone 3GS, and we saw the title 3G, and thus 3G is pretty much out the window, and we are all on LTE, which is what we typically use. And Kevin mentioned earlier he uses LTE watch. Um, the new system is the 5th generation 5G, so the old stuff is being kind of pushed into retirement, so to speak, and thus these companies are kind of coming back at the customers and saying, "Hey, you got to buy a new phone, otherwise you can't use our service," and it's freaking out the customer, and then they're pinning you with these somewhat um, silly phones. I would say they're not bad, but they have their limitations. And I think later on, if anyone else wants to ask some hardware questions or share, um, maybe they could give insight on the A12 or a Stylo, because they're great phones. One's from LG, one's from Samsung. Samsung A series phones are good, but I would stick to a 52, a 72, higher numbers, basically. And for the stylo, again, it's hit or miss. LG has kind of jumped out of the cell phone game, so it's all about OS, which is operating system, and who's going to give you the most support. And Google and Samsung right now currently are giving the most support, security wise, plus operating system wise. So you buy a phone, it's going to at least last you 3 years, if not more, in the sense of security and operating system. So the cost kind of comes down to that. Most of these phones vary in pricing. A Google Pixel, I forget the exact pricing, but could vary from $300 upwards to $999. Depending on storage, it could go upwards, but basics. And for Samsung, again, you have the A series and then you have the S series. S series is a little bit more premium, but you do get a little bit better features in certain aspects. And then other aspects, the A phones work just as well, but they're just a little bit slower processors and stuff like that. So typically, we've done a Great Lakes ADA thing last year, and we recommended Samsung, Motorola, and Google Pixel devices. And if anyone else has any more input, I'll keep it moving.
Yeah, because they offered the A12 and the Motorola G stylus free. No wonder, right? Because they're just the older phones. Thank you. Wow.
They're
I
not
don't know why.
necessarily old, but it's the value across the longevity of your device, right? So with
I see.
Apple and the argument, what's happening is, yes, they do support it, but they are only supporting one type of device. These with the Google side, you have a manufacturer of operating system, you have a manufacturer of hardware and components, and when you mix all of those together, it kind of becomes this confusing. Where do I go? How do I do it? And then you have the little companies like I don't know, Virgin Mobile or something, and then like, oh, we'll give you a deal, and then you get lost in this. I got you a deal, but the phone was so lousy that your accessibility was kind of a second guess, because they'll say, hey, look, I can magnify the screen for you, but that's not your screen reader user. You just use a screen reader. The magnification is not going to mean anything to that end user. So it's knowing what you want and then picking your price point, and then at that point seeing what everybody else is getting, because obviously certain phones like the Pixel phones and such are doing better because they're proving that they're more accessible. So that's kind of my little tidbit on the 5G to hardware side.
Can they keep me from using 4G on my phone? That's not. I didn't get it from them, but they support it as my carrier. I don't understand what the. Anyway,
No, they're basically using marketing talk to say, hey, you need a 5G phone, so you should buy a newer phone because that'll work. But if you have, let's say, a phone that's using 4G, you're fine. You don't need a new phone whatsoever. I have a Note 9. I'm using a almost 3-year phone. Are they going to tell me your phone is out of date? You can't use it. I have a 4XL from Pixel. Are you going to tell me that I'm out of business? Yes. If you have a Pixel 2 XL or a Pixel 1, yeah, they are out of operating system, but they're still continuously working, and there are other. This is why Android is a big community, because they are little ROMs and things. We could repurpose devices. So if you need an alarm clock or a timer, and you want to just slap a phone on top of your fridge with a magnet, that's all it'll do. You can make it do that. So it's all about not wasting. I mean, we waste so much stuff as it is with batteries and such that, and we should always recycle things. But part of Android ecosystem is that, and it's not really a fight between Apple either. It's just we have one device, you have another device, and I think everyone should have one Apple device in their pocket, one Android, one Windows computer, and maybe one Macintosh. Why not? You'll be fully accessible. You can't. No one could tell you you're not accessible then. So
Oh,
This
thank
is
you.
true.
go ahead, Tree.
I do want to say that carriers are gonna they're gonna shut down 3G. So it's either happening or it's going to happen. So if your device is only supporting 3G, then they will shut it down.
Should we
Um,
let the people know what we used to do? No.
And this
No.
is, Kevin, if you can get the Motorola G Stylus, and that has a Snapdragon 678. If they're offering you that for free, I would take it. Because if you have 5G, you have 4G too, so it'll switch back and forth. But they're not ending your 4G support anytime soon. Now, if you're in one of those situations where you're being forced to switch from Sprint to T-Mobile, you might as well just take you a new phone when you come over.
And
But if
that's my
that's
situation.
And also, this is Foster. Also, to add to that, another reason why 4G is not going to go away anytime soon is because your main carriers like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they contract out to smaller companies, and so a lot of those phones still use 4G service to provide phones at a lower price point as well.
I think the best thing, Miss Debbie, that you could do is look at the price point. If your price point is $200, then I'm gonna say go for Motorola all day long. If your price point is $300, I'm gonna say go to Pixel, because the entry level. Last year, I made a bet, wanted to make a bet, but a challenge to the iBUG leadership here with Sandhya and Michael, and they ended up buying phones. They ended up getting a Pixel 4a, which was what Michael got, and then Sandhya got the Pixel 5 because she's like, I'm getting everything that's better. I want better, and then she lost it in her garage one day. But neither this or that. It's much laughter, and the phone can be really decent, but Sunday spent 700, I think, or 600, whereas Michael spent maybe 450, and you know the phone is one and the same. So if you're looking for something just to test out on, Google's is better because that's who makes it, and that's again you're going to now in an Apple type of environment, right? Apple makes it; it's going to be like Apple. If you go to Samsung, it's going to be like Samsung makes it. That's how they treat it. It's their intuition into it. So I would say between those three companies, Motorola is a decent company too, but Motorola does not have a longevity in operating system updates. So if you're ready to buy a new phone every, let's say, 2-3 years, and a couple $100 is nothing, it's affordable. Wear and tear, broken glass, things happen. Then $200, $100, 150 is not a bad idea for a cheap phone, but it just depends on your need. If you're trying to surf internet and trying to be fast and zippy, then get a fast and zippy phone. If you're just needing it for phone calls, that an emergency thing that you keep in the house that you could get out, you could have a phone call to have outbounds, then something $100, $200 is just fine.
This is Foster. I have a question. This might be something Kevin might be able to answer. But on the phones that are Android One, like Nokia offers a lot of phones that are Android One. Do those have the same or almost the same guarantee as the OS and the security that comes with the Pixel?
Not the exact same. This is Kevin. It just depends on what Nokia decides to do, because they're right now the only company that's doing the Android one, but it's pretty close.
Because it's
Now that
primarily stock Android, right?
yes.
Okay.
So the security is going to go longer than the software updates, but it's going to be pretty close. And now, especially on the mid tier, like the A71s, A52s and up, but now Samsung is getting pretty close. Like I already got my January software security update on my S21. So back in the day, that was unheard of with Samsung. So that's not Android One. It's not stock Android, but at least with Nokia and Samsung, you're getting something close to what Google is doing.
Yeah, man, that shows growth right there, Kevin. Thank you so much for that. Back in whatever day I started Android in 2012 or whenever it was, this wasn't the case, and I started as a low vision user, and there are some good tools for low vision users since we are on ACB, and not everybody is a screen reader user, so there's definitely tools for you, and I guess we'll go morph it into the next topic. If anybody has any other question or concern, go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, this is. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, this is just Rhonda, and my question kind of piggybacks on the previous caller, and I'm just interested in getting my first Android tablet, and just wanted to hear if anyone had some specific recommendations. I am a screen reader user, so I'd be using like Talkback.
Okay, thank you for your question, and I think Kevin, I'm just going to point it out at you before you say it's me, Kevin, again. Any tablets you used in the past, and give me 2, 3 right off bat, and I want to go to Foster after you. I'm just going to give you a quick rapid round.
So if you want the type of performance that you would be expecting out of something like an iPad or something like that, then I would recommend the Galaxy S7 FE Fan Edition, or I would wait about 3 weeks until the Galaxy, I'm sorry, I said S, but Tab 7 FE, but or you can wait 3 weeks for the S8, and it's going to have different sizes. I don't know if you have any vision, but they're going to have an Ultra that's going to be like a 15-inch or 14-inch screen, and they're going to have some ones that are more reasonably priced, like about $6 or $7.99 or something like that. So it's going to span the gamut. So if that's the kind of performance you're looking for, I would recommend any of the Tab S7s. But if performance is not the thing, then I would go with like something like the Tab. Is it A8?
Mm-hmm.
I think they use the A, so the A8 or something like that, and just try to get as much RAM as you can. I think they have like a 4 option and maybe so don't go for the 2, go for the 4 gigabyte option.
Hey, Ava, I want to bring you in on this one. What about that Fire tablet? Did you get one recently, or do you have an old one? Man, that cold weather and the internet. And fiber optic cables are frozen out there in Houston. I'm sorry about that, but she'll be back. But in any case, I
Hershey?
want to carry on.
Let's Foster.
Go ahead.
So you said you want a tablet? You want a tablet, not a phone, right, Mel?
Yep. Yes, I'd like a tablet.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So another one that I've been checking out, and people, a lot of people may not know about, is Lenovo. Lenovo and Motorola are under the same parent company. I forgot what the name of the company is, but basically Lenovo makes Android tablets too, and they have something called the P11 Pro, and it's a 11-inch tablet. It's not too big. It's not too small. It runs about, if you get it with the keyboard case and the stand, it runs about 700. But it pretty much runs stock Android, and so you're gonna get like a pure Android experience. And then as far as the specs, it has like a high definition screen, and it has quad 4 speakers. So it's kind of like the Samsung Galaxy Tab S series, but the price point's a little lower. It's kind of like a mid-range. It gives you a mid-range price point with good specs, good quality. So that's another
Hey,
one
this
you
is
may
Hershey
want to look
speaking.
at.
Foster, do you have one?
My wife won't let me get any more toys.
I apologize.
And it
Well, your
has
wife has
very
your life.
good. It has very good reviews of the P11.
And I think isn't the RAM like six? I think there's a 6
Yes, I
gig
think
and an
there's a
8 gig.
6 and an 8, but I don't remember
Yeah.
what the
What type
processor
of
is. I
CPU? Okay,
think
we don't
it's
know
a
the CPU.
I think they started out with a Snapdragon 735, but I think they took it up to either the 865 or the 888 for this 2021 version.
okay.
Well, thank you so much for that information. Ms. Rhonda, if you had your question satisfied there, I guess we could move on to the next question.
Yes, thank you very much. This is very helpful. The other related question, because I have a hearing disability, are those that you have suggested have pretty good speakers?
Yes.
I would say yes, and for hearing impairment in general,
Mhm.
Samsung has knocked it out of the park. I mean, Samsung
Yeah.
actually has a audiology type test that's on their device from the get go. Like I don't know, the Note 5 or maybe something had it like way long ago, and or S8 actually, excuse me, S8, and they do quite a bit in that realm, and then you'll also get the perks from Google's side. So I would kind of jumble into the A series if price is an issue, but Lenovo is definitely a good bet. And one more, I know that there's Walmart tablets, just to give people kind of a, you know, buyers beware. When we're talking about RAM or memory and storage is something that you might see like 128 gigabytes. That's how many gigabytes of storage you have. You'll see numbers like 4, 6, 8, 12, 16. Those numbers represent the memory, and thus, whenever you have tablets, when you're choosing them, these other companies like Walmart's brand or ONN, it's cool, but we got to think about us. We're the visually impaired crowd here, maybe hearing impaired, any other disabilities. I mean, cognitive disabilities, you have plentiful, but is the device going to match what we spent on? And that's the important part to always keep in mind. Samsung is kind of left as the only tablet person in the arena, but who knows what's out in the, for the future. Um, just remember that it's accessibility that's going to help you. So sometimes extra couple $100 may look like a lot compared to like the $100 tablet to the $300 tablet. So consider that in your buying decision.
Hey, this is Kushal.
Go ahead, Kushal.
I've got a question. Now, I've got a friend who uses a Android device, a Braille Sense 6. Obviously, she's an iOS user. But is there any instrument tuner app out there for Android? Like on the iPhone, there's a talking tuner app. But is
Mr.
there any
Kushal,
apps?
I think you've been made because I've already had this question that was supposed to come from you. But gee, it's nice to talk to you. I've heard you on the iOS calls on the Buzz call. So you're basically looking for an instrument tuner app that is available on Android. So if anybody's a musician out there, I remember one, but I'm gonna have to come back to you if anything. It's been ages. But if anybody else has one, please help out Kushal's friend. It's important. It's music.
This is Kevin. I don't know if you subscribe to the list, but I can post, and I believe one of them might be on the blind Android users. I think they may have demoed one of them or something like that, but there is one. I just don't know. There's more than one. There's
Hey Kevin,
hundreds and
if
thousands.
anything, if you could do me a favor,
Can you
Kevin?
post on the iBug group? Are you on the iBug Facebook group?
No. I'm on
Okay, or
Android and
flick me a message on Messenger.
Crucial, we'll get it to you, but let me see if me and Kevin could kind of get down to the bottom, because I think Kevin knows what I'm talking about. Kevin, on
Okay.
our on the Facebook blind and percent visually impaired Android users group, which I'm also a part of. That's kind of where I kind of live or lay whenever I lay in Android land. There was a person that made a piano tuning app and a musical app, if you remember.
yeah, there's piano tuning and there's a
And he made
guitar
2-3
tuning.
apps. Yeah, and then I forgot the guy's name right now. And he first made it for Android and then he made it for iOS, but I heard it really worked well for Android. So if you remember that post, I guess share it on our list and then we'll pass it on.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries, cool. Nice talking to you. Next question. Next concern.
May I have the link for the group on Facebook? What do I
Absolutely.
do? You have my email address?
Yeah, let me see if I think I still have it, but if I don't have it, if you have mine, send me a thing, but I'll just paste it right in there because I can copy the link faster than you'll remember what we tell you tonight. So, but if you don't see anything by in the morning, if you can find my email address, send me.
Can you, remind you, I need a refresher. On here, where do I go find?
Sure thing. Well, like I said, Miss Rachel, welcome back. I remember talking to you, like I said, last year. So if you wanted to reach out to us, it's iBUG, iBUG, Android, Android,
Well, no,
Insight.
I know everything for the
I'm just
iBug,
gonna give it.
for
I'm gonna give it
Kevin's.
to. I'm gonna give it to the people real quick.
Okay.
Just one real quick. So iBUG, Android, Insight, plus subscribe at groups.io. So that's our mailing list. But definitely, Kevin's a big help in the community out here. So with such that, so if you email us on that, that's the mailing list. For anybody else out there, so iBUG, iBUG, Android, Insight, plus sign, subscribe at groups.io. Send a blank email. What that does is that basically that puts you on the list. And so whenever we were talking about the 2-3 things tonight, that hey, we'll send you a list, we'll send you a link, you could, if you do that, then that list will come to your email box. And so if there's, let's say, an app that somebody else thought of, or you had a question, I know we had one question that we had an issue with the link on our website, but if you have questions, concerns, that's one way. On Facebook, if you just type in the search box iBug today, hit enter, just hit join, and that simple as that. You could hit message, you could you could find us basically on Facebook anyhow. So with any ways of communicating, even if you email us on the iBug mailing on the main website at info, then we'll get back to you, and we want to answer every person's question that's possible. So those are the different ways you could get in touch with us.
Thank you.
No worries. So any other questions for you, Rachel? What do you want to know? I mean, you've been talking about you want to get a refresher. So what would you want to be refreshed on for one thing that you want to have as a takeaway?
Everything.
Because we talked about lights last time, if you remember.
Everything, really.
Last time I remember we talked about lights because I'm having fun with my lights, to be honest. Just to give another tidbit tip, I use Spotify and I have Hue as my light. I have 3 Hue light bulbs. So what I like doing, I'm low vision, is I'll set the sync to the music. So if I'm playing, let's say, Bob Marley jamming, it will sync to my lights, and my lights the room will have some kind of hue. So, sometimes it's a cool party trick, or sometimes if you're trying to just chill out to ambient music and you just want a little bit of lighting in your room or some kind of mood. That's a good way to, to add something if you have some site. And if anything, it's something to show your counterparts or your sighted folks out there that, hey, there's this cool thing you could do, and it don't matter if I'm sighted or not, I can make it happen. So
Right. So my challenge now is just to remember most of the training that I had, because I started taking a grant writing class. Their software wasn't accessible, so some of the stuff I could. So just a refresher for everything that I'm doing. I just want to be, like you said, accessible in all areas. And since I use my Android phone consistently, I don't have a MacBook yet, but I do have an iPhone, and I do have a desktop computer. And so I just want to make sure that I'm accurate in what I'm doing. So I just need a refresher.
you're definitely accurate because you're here. That's number one accuracy, right? You've made it to Zoom. I mean, that's a challenge in itself. You you followed along to anywhere you are, because again, all of these are new things. I mean, to be honest, I didn't like Zoom when the whole pandemic started. And here we are, with all these situations. I remember you personally. I think you're from Georgia.
Nope, I'm from Oklahoma City, but I lived in
Oklahoma
Fort Worth,
City.
Texas.
Okay. There were a few names that got floated around, but in any case, the idea is we all kind of remember each other from a community base, right? And many things are accessible, not accessible. The thing to note is what's going to work for you. I mean,
Right.
Android phones, if you got one, you can make it work, because you needed to communicate. Half the time we are so busy playing games and looking down onto our phones, where we forget to say hello to the neighbor next door, or go checking on people. So um, the basic principle, I think, to any phone is, if it does what it needs for you, then that's the best phone for you. My Note 9, I love it. It's still doing what it needs to do. My Pixel 4 XL works just fine. I'll get my 6 down the road, but I don't want a free phone anymore, because I've been down that road, and it's a bad phone. It's just that it's not meeting my accessibility needs,
Right.
because one feature is missing, another thing is missing there. I use low vision stuff. I like high contrast. By the way, I found a quick tip. Just again, I keep running into cool tips, but the accessibility shortcut in Android 12 for anybody that has newer phones is back. So I like using gestures. Gestures are quicker because I could swipe my finger right down, bam. Color inversion is on, color inversion is off. I just right down, bam. Every time, it always works. Now, what happened is they thought, they meaning Google, hey, why don't we put a floating button? So they did. They put a floating button on the screen. So I have this button. I'm on, let's say, ibugtoday.com or .org, and I'm swiping, and then it's like, you could use any shortcut for it. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm trying to figure out where the link is. I'm looking for the Zoom link. And what happens is this floating button becomes part of the interface, and it gets in the way. And so, with that said, sometimes what's really useful in one way or another may not be for everybody, but gestures have really helped me as a screen reader user. So when you transition from low vision stuff to screen readers, some stuff is easier because you could just swipe whatever direction and down or up, and you got things working. But I see Mr. Jerry has a question. I'll let you unmute. I think somebody's unmuted there. No?
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Tree.
I have an Amazon question. Is that a good time to ask?
Ava. Yeah, it's fine to ask.
Yes, this is a good time to ask, Sheree.
So where I'm living now, we've had some power blips, power going out and comes back on. And for some reason, my show, I believe it's rebooted and it comes on, but it's not speaking, like the voice part of it is not coming on. I can't tell if it's on or it's completely, didn't power back up. And what I'm having to do is like just unplug the power, plug it back on to get the unit to work with the voice. And I'm just wondering, is that Is anyone else is experiencing that with like their show devices?
Ava, has that
This
happened
is
to your
Nellie.
shows?
Yes, Nellie.
I don't have an Echo Show, but I just have a Echo Dot, and I've experienced that problem with the Echo Dot where I had to unplug it and let it, reboot again. It wasn't responding to commands.
Kevin, I think that does happen when the power goes out. That's why you have to I just have to do a fresh restart. I don't have the show, but my, sometime even on my Fire TV, I have to do the same thing for any of the other parts to work, not just the voice, but for the other part, for it to connect to the Wi-Fi correctly and for it to respond to commands.
This is Sri.
Yes, Sherry.
Go ahead.
So my question is it physically rebooting? Because if it is, I can maybe get a smart switch where I can actually do the reboot remotely. I'm just trying to figure out, is the unit actually powering back up or is it just in a power off state?
When the power goes off?
No, when the power comes back, is the unit, is it powering, is it
Yes.
rebooting?
Yes, it's rebooting. Well, and mine do. Most of the time they reboot. And even the show should make a noise, but maybe it's not. But either way, you're gonna have to unplug it. I mean, one of the other things to do is to get a UPS so that it doesn't, so the power is not interrupted.
This is Sri.
Go ahead, Tree.
I'm thinking about maybe just putting a smart plug so I can just remotely reboot it instead of having to go to the device.
But Tree, wouldn't you have to do the same process anyway of the point of what you're trying to say is that when you lose power, what is the state? The state, would it restart itself, reboot, and then with, let's say, smart plug, is it going to do the same thing? Because if your smart plug is in the on state and then the machine, meaning the Echo, is rebooting, isn't it still, doesn't it, it doesn't really fix anything, does it? Doesn't it just replicate the issue?
This is Sri.
Carry
So
on.
what I've noticed is when I reboot it, it comes back up and everything's running. That's why I was trying to figure out if the unit is actually rebooted after the loses the power, because I couldn't tell. But when I unplug and replug it back in, like I'm basically losing power. But I'm forcing the power outage or the loss of power, and I plug it back in, it's coming back up and it's working. That's why I was thinking a smart plug, I could just do it without having to go to the unit to do it.
Yeah, that
But the
definitely
UPS
makes
is a good
sense.
suggestion too.
Right. And Shri, you're a buzz guy. Come on, let's go to the next question. I'm kidding. But thanks for that question, Shri. If we could go to the next question, Mr. Jerry Yoga had raised his hand a couple times, and I have seen you, so not sure what type of device you're on, but Alt A would unmute you if you want to go ahead and ask a question.
Well, I accidentally raised my hand, and
No worries.
but anyway, when you are having a problem with Lady A, serious problem, I got them all around my house. Sometimes if you have a problem and it don't really totally fix the problem, sometimes it's just better to unplug everything and go to your router, unplug that too. And then wait about 30 seconds, plug your router back in, and then go and plug everything back in from your router, and go back to each of your devices and to plug them all back in one at a time. And you got to completely reboot the whole thing. And normally that would probably fix the problem.
Those are really, really good suggestions. Thank you for that, Jerry. Every time when you start from scratch, definitely it helps. I keep making fun of Ava over here because it is 2022, and I know Ava for Christmas got so many devices, and so did I. A matter of fact, I just got a device today. I got the hub again because my mom's like, I can't tell the time when I walk by the hallway, and now I need to see the time, and I figured I need a hub. I had a mini, but the hub, $58. Yeah, they're off the sale now. They're on sale till the 17th. But um, what's interesting is it has a screen reader. It has triple tap to zoom, color inversion, closed captioning, such that. So, as a device, the Nest Hub Gen 2, not a bad idea. It does have sleep tracking stuff, no camera. Um, and that is interesting with the on state of on and off. Today I was trying to figure out the same thing as Sri was. Is my Nest Hub on or is it off? And it has a thing called Soli, SOLI, and it's a radar chip, and you could technically like hold a fist up to the thing and it'll stop, or swipe left and it'll, let me think, swipe left would fast forward, swipe right would rewind, and Kevin's probably going to correct me, but if it basically works off gestures, and so that's a decent buy if you need something with a small speaker. But if you need loud sound, the Nest Hub Audios I like better, and the Nest Hub Max, which is a bigger screen with the bigger speakers. So those are some tools if you don't have any extras, and if you're just looking to buy something. Amazon, I like it, but I have a question to everybody else, because I guess I don't ever ask questions, but who do you guys like better these days? Because honestly, Google's been less problematic these days than Amazon, and even through the apps. And hopefully, you guys understand my grief. Like Amazon's app, when you're trying to use it on any device, Apple included, Android, it's yeah. Any thoughts?
This is Foster. Um, yeah, I've noticed some glitches lately with my Amazon apps. Because especially use the what is that app? The shopping app. I use that a whole lot, and also use the Kindle app. So I have noticed a few glitches here and there.
First, can you do continuous reading? Because that is the $1,000, $100,000 question. Because that is
All
always
day,
breaking
baby.
for everybody.
All day, all day, all day. I can do continuous.
Can you explain to the good folks, because we got the ACB community on this call, we got the iBUG,
Okay.
cool. So can you explain to everybody to what? So what does that mean? Continuous reading.
So-
What is that? And then I Kindle. And
Okay.
do you have to pay for it? Give them the rundown real quick.
Okay, so continuous reading means that you can, even if the Kindle book does not have the extra audio component, you can actually use Talkback to.
So my screen's locked. Can I still use it?
Your screen is locked. You have to wait. Let me think.
Man, I got you already. Man, that was I got you in 5 seconds.
I
man.
think it's still. I think after you start it, if the screen locks, so I think you can actually program it so that when the screen locks, it'll still keep going.
So I get to pick on you, Foster, because you always you always here, man. So I appreciate you, Kevin, everybody. You're always here, so thank you for that. But my main concern is the main question answer that I get every day is like, hey, I'm using Kindle, I'm using such and such, but my phone screen locks, and then what do I do? And earlier we had a Braille question per se on Kushal's question, right? But I've noticed even on the Braille Touch Note, Eva had a question. I think Eva's here, matter of fact. But she had a question when she's at work, and she works like at maybe a call center type environment or a front desk. And 30 minutes later, you're not paying attention 30 minutes. You're not paying attention to time, but 30 minutes passes, it's fell asleep. And then she's scrambling to, pull up such and such information. So, in comparison to different devices, what do you think? I mean, where you at with
the
I guess with I guess Braille devices and Android in that sense, right?
Well, I haven't ever used a Braille device compared to, say, like continuous reading using.
So that is an Android setting. So what you're telling me is that's an actual Android display setting. That is not a Braille. That does have nothing to do with Braille, is what you're telling me.
No, no, it's actually
Nothing to do.
it's
It's
Talkback.
totally different. Two different things.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
think that's what the thing is. People get confused. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how do I make this and that? And like, the
The-
driver on Windows told me not to do like what? Like,
Yeah,
so
but the talk, so like with continuous reading, you can do it on both the iPhone for the Kindle app, you can do continuous reading for both on both the iPhone and on the Android devices. Personally, I prefer the using Talkback for continuous reading on the Kindle because for me it's easier to control. I can control it easier on the Android than I can on the iPhone. So I like to use it on the because the one thing like with Amazon, like with the Amazon tablet, Fire tablet stuff, as we've mentioned before, is that Amazon Fire tablets and Fire sticks and all that are based on an old version of Android anyway. So personally, I do not, outside of a Fire stick, I do not own any other Fire devices. If I'm gonna use the Kindle app, I'll go ahead and use it on an Android device because I get the full-fledged app by using it on the Android device as opposed to just the Fire device. So,
Foster,
Thank
may
you
I
so much.
ask, what do you when you say Talkback, the screen reader?
that's the screen reader for Android.
That's just the screen reader. That's not the Talkback is the screen reader, right?
Yeah, that's the Android screen reader.
So when I use the screen reader on my desktop, and I also turn on another screen reader because it's not working. My Microsoft the
So
screen reader.
narrator.
Yes,
Talking
the
about
narrator. Yes, when that freezes, I turn on my phone, but then it's like it's still not working. Is it because I have them too close together?
The phone shouldn't affect what's on your Windows PC.
Okay.
You said you had a Galaxy phone?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a Galaxy girl. I'm a Galaxy girl.
Okay. Yeah. But Samsung is like the Apple of the Android world. Like Samsung is like now that Google's in the game. Next to Google, Samsung is
Google
like
TV over Google
premium.
YouTube TV.
They're premium. Those are premium Android phones. If you get a Samsung or a Pixel, you're in premium. You're in the top tier. So even when you use your screen reader on that, it should work. Actually, the screen readers on your cell phones actually work better than narrator on your PC.
Okay. See, and that's why when it's
Miss
free, it
Rachel.
will freeze. Pardon me?
This is Hershey. What I was saying
Yeah.
is, how about this? Could you get in touch with us on Facebook?
I am.
Do you have Facebook?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Drop a line at iBUG today at the main page, and I'll
Okay.
find you.
Mhm.
We'll take care of all of these problems. Like
Yeah,
whatever device you need, like we'll help you.
Yeah.
This
And
is what we're here for.
Do you use Dict when you're doing, like you said, you're taking up grant writing? So do you use dictation to do your papers?
I don't know any of that. That's what I'm saying.
Dictation is.
Oh
Do
wow,
you
Hershey, we
speak?
gotta.
Yeah, do you
Oh,
speak?
don't do that. Don't do that to
You
me.
know what I'm saying? No.
Oh yeah.
My
Do you
teacher's on
speak
here,
to your
y'all.
phone or not? So, because look, we want to help you because
Yeah, no.
you have this
So
beautiful case of
here's the thing. What was your name again?
I'm
Rachel.
Rachel. And so I
Rachel.
was
Okay. So here's the thing, Rachel. I'm like Hershey. I'm low vision, so I've been legally blind all my life. So
right.
as accessibility goes, I'm always seeking to do things not just because it's accessible, but also to do it efficiently and faster. And so when I have to write papers,
Mhm.
we subscribe to Office 365. I use it on my iPhone, I use it on my desktop, I use it on my Android device. And whenever I first start writing a paper, I'll use the on the keyboard, I'll hit the microphone and use the voice dictation to dictate my paper. So those thoughts will flow. And then after I've gotten my flow, then I'll go back with the keyboard, or I may transfer over to my laptop or my desktop, and then I'll go back and proof what I've dictated, and then start to edit and perfect it. That's all I'm saying. It's just
What you're saying, I've been using my son, right? So I'd use another pair of eyes. So I want to do it myself.
All you got to do is go to if you have Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the quickest way you could get in touch
Facebook,
with us.
yeah.
If you have Facebook, then iBUG today. Look it up on the search bar. If you're using JAWS, insert Z to turn off the PC cursor. Type in iBUG today. Hit enter, and the first list that first entry that pops up, go to that. Subscribe, join. Just drop a message. We'll find you. Because we'd love to help people like that. Because like the thing is Android is one thing. Then you got Windows. Then you got this. How can I connect my iPhone or my Android phone to the Windows computer? How can I message? How can I? It's about workflow to me. Because if I'm on the messages, maybe Sandhya is messaging me, hey, where you at? You're not on a meeting yet. Hello. She could message me, but my messages could be coming from my computer. That could help your workflow. That could help your bottom line. That could help your stress levels. And with anything with Android or iPhone, it's a big family. We're all visually impaired or blind in one shape or form, or deaf, or it doesn't make a difference. Cognition. I have multiple sclerosis as well. But at the end of the day, we have to kind of come back to the bottom of the line. Like, I want to learn this. I want to know this. And you spend a little bit of time on it. Right now, I got a microphone and I got a mixer sitting next to me. I haven't turned it on because I wasn't ready for this meeting. Otherwise, I would have had cowbells or different sounds and stuff in Oklahoma City or something. And we could have done it up. But maybe next time, next week, next month, But it's the ability to learn, the ability to open yourself to learn, and that's all it takes. And you're in the perfect place. iBUG, to me, I came here the first day. I just answered a few questions. Sandhya said, "Can you stay?" Kevin's another dude, he answers questions left and right. We all just answering questions, but at the end of the day, it's a community. If we're not here for each other, then why are we wasting time?
Right. And so the reason why I was saying I know some of the stuff, but Kevin was my instructor, and I remember what he taught me, but now I'm past those basic steps to where I'm doing a lot of work for myself, and I just want to be accurate, and I just want to make sure that again, he's always told me to take my time.
That is the first thing you want to be accurate. You want to be just as good. Why did I spend money on microphones? I want to be accurate on my sound because I want to sound like I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I don't want to sound like I'm talking in a shoebox. And you can barely hear me. My internet's messing up, and that's why I spent money on it. And I'm like, why did I do it? But after the fact, your intelligence is how you sound.
Okay.
And if you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, and you're missing out on it, they're not going to listen to you. But if you sound good, doesn't matter your visual impairment, nothing.
Okay.
It's another life. It's another day. It's 2022.
Okay. Yeah, but let's. Is there anybody else with an Android question? Because our time is getting down. Yes, Michael.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is appropriate or not, but so I've got one of my Gmail accounts. Excuse me, choking here. Just ate dinner. And I've got two-factor verification on. Well, I guess with Google now, everything has to be.
You're right.
So, but anyway, occasionally I'll log out of that Gmail account, and when I log back in, it requires a two-step verification, and I've got my phone number set up to get a text, but it's sending a alert, not alert, a whatever announcement to my Google Pixel phone that is sitting in a drawer. And a lot of times I may be not even, at home when that happens. And I'm trying to get it to switch over and, send it to my phone number on my iPhone, which is active now. I mean, there's not even a SIM card in that Pixel.
You know why it does that, Michael?
Why is that?
Kind of like with iOS devices. You know how like if you're signed in to FaceTime on your iPad, you're signed into FaceTime on your MacBook, and you're signed on FaceTime on your iPhone. If somebody calls you, right, you can answer it from any one of those devices, right?
Yeah.
So if you're signed into your Google account on your Pixel phone, but you're checking your Gmail, say from another device, the Google's going to it's going to send it to that open device. And I'll give you an example. I told my Google speaker to call my cell phone, right? But my SIM card is not in my Android phone. It called my Android phone because I was still logged into my Android phone. So you're gonna have to log out from your Pixel phone, and then it'll send it to your it'll actually send it to your phone number.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was even turned off. It wasn't even powered up, and it was still going there. But I guess, like you said, it's connected to the Google account, and so it thinks it's an active way to do the two-step verification. That makes sense.
Well,
okay,
Mr. Michael,
That's a easy
happy
fix.
2022, by the way. Thank you for thank you for buying that 4A, because we were just talking about you, and then
But
you
if
came in afterwards. But
this is Kevin, when you're doing the two-factor authentication, I mean, of course, it's going to try to pick any Google device first, any Android device it's going to pick first. I was working with someone the other day, and they were doing this, and they had a Braille sensor, one of the Braille devices that has an Android. So it's looking for any Android device that takes priority, just like if you're working in the iOS world, that's what it's doing. And it will get to that device no matter if there's a SIM card or not. But what you can go do is tap on more options or give me another way or something like that. And then it'll send you this code that you have to type in. You have to type it in the field on the computer if you're doing it from a computer. But you have to type in that same code that it shows at the top of the screen on your iPhone or whatever you're doing. And that's another way that you can do the two-factor authentication. It's not going to use a text message. It might tell you that it is, but it's not going to use a text.
hey, Kevin, would it be okay if I got in touch with you? This is Hershey.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask about this, Mr. Michael, again, I was saying earlier, happy 2022 to you. But what I notice on my phones, I have a Note 9 and a 4 XL. I will go log into gmail.com on my computer to perhaps, get a Zoom link or a calendar, whatever. And both of my phones will get a alert. I just have to say yes, allow it, and then it will expire after a while. So if you have per se your Pixel or your iPhone as your Google account authentication thing, just ignore the other phone. It's basically gonna give you every phone that's hooked up to that Gmail account is gonna get an alert, just like a doorbell. For example, like if you have a Google doorbell, it's gonna hit every single device in the sense of, you know, um, capturing that you got the message. So in that sense, it might not be something that is really that important, but if it keeps affecting you in the login process, just make sure you have the right devices set up for that kind of authentication prognosis. So Google Authenticator works well. A lot of apps these days tend to use Google Authenticator. I use Microsoft Authenticator myself personally, but Authy is another one that people like to use. So depending on how you like to sign in, Google Authenticator tells me if I sign into my Gmail, yes, it's me. No, it's not me. I just have to tap a button and I'm into my email. And now Google Gmail requires everybody have two-factor authentication turned on. So you will have a situation like this for everybody that when you tap on the button, it will allow you after you entered your username and password. Um, I guess there's ways to turn it off, but the other way of two-factor authentication is it might say, hey, enter the number 55, and you have to look for the number 55, 67, 99. And you pick the number 55 and hit approve, and it pushes you through. So those are the way of authentication apps, but I will keep it moving, and if any more questions around.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to make it simple where it would just, send me a text message to my iPhone. It's not doing that right now.
What does text message do for you though? Is it just to hit approve, or would you like to I used the 6 digits, so is that too much? Is that
Yeah, I mean, it would
a little bit
it
much?
would send me the code to, text me the code that I would then enter into the whatever device I'm signing on.
I would suggest if you go towards the apps, so Microsoft Authenticator works pretty decent. Authy works really well, and Google Authenticator, but this works for everybody. And I know Shri, you guys did a thing on 1Password. I wasn't able to get my eggs in the right basket to get to you guys, but it is important if people are using password managers and authentication things from Google to either use Google Authenticator, Microsoft, or Authy. Those are the top 3 that have been working well. Accessibility is there, and then 1Password. And then if Shri or anybody else has any other suggestions.
This is Kevin. His issue is just the problem is that Google is Android. So the fact that he has an Android device on his account ever, that's going to be the preferred way of authorizing. Now, there's a much longer process that you can go to where you can go and look at all of your devices. You have to go down into security and all this other stuff, and you can go and remove the Pixel 4a or the Pixel, whichever one you have. You can go and remove it from your account, and then it will send the text message to your iPhone because it doesn't have any other choice. But like I said, that's a much more longer and much more involved process than
Kevin,
just clicking on more.
Accounts.google.com, go to security, and then wham, or?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't. But I know that when I get a new device, sometimes it will say you have a new device, or you have a new phone number. Do you want to remove this or that? That's how I get there because but I know it's somewhere in settings, probably in device or privacy or somewhere. I don't know.
Kevin,
but I know it can be done.
You hit a good point, and you have 7 minutes. Do you think in 7 minutes you could say you bought a new, because you got a 6, you got a 5, you got a 4, you got a whoever. When you get a new device, could you give us 7 minutes or 5 minutes of what you do?
Actually, it's 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, of what you do. Like you got a new device, because Ava and I were talking about Ava had a new device. What do you do?
The only thing that I do is hold down the 2 volume keys, put in my Gmail address, tell it that I don't want to port my apps over, and go next. And that's it.
Why do you do that?
Because I want to start fresh every time I have a device. Some people want all those apps to come over, but I'm still in the process. I got my phone on December 13th, and I'm still in the process of adding devices back. Adding apps back to it. I just prefer this way better, just in case something slows it down along the way, just in case Facebook is messing up or something, I can uninstall it, but I can go one by one.
Thank you, Kevin. That's insightful for sure. Because so Kevin's way, basically, what he's saying to you is start from scratch, because it's easier to not worry about settings. Sometimes settings can get brought over from another phone, and they get old, they get stale. It causes problems. And whenever you bring settings, from an app at a fresh point, you have a better idea of uninstalling something when it breaks, like a vocalizer voice or a acapella voice. And I personally do the opposite. I take whatever my old phone is and I bring it over, I port it over, but many apps are already taken out for me. So that is a secondary option. I mean, Kevin has an option, I have an option, Ava, everyone has an option. Um, I would just say the difference is on the Firefox or the Fire tablet stuff. They're a little bit different because it's a little bit older, but the principles are all the same. So again, thank you so much for everybody for tonight. Spending the time with us. Welcome to 2022. Hopefully everybody got some insightful information. Thank you for Kevin and Foster and all the great questions that we've had. Thank you, Ava. It's lovely to see you again. It's 2022. It's holy crap. It's 22 years, I think, right? 2 years. It's almost 2 years.
Yeah.
June's 2 years.
June, 2 years.
Wow. Yikes.
Yeah. And I want to tell everybody our next meeting will be February 16th, 2022 at 7 p.m. So
Send a bunch
come
of
ready.
flowers to Ava for Valentine's Day.
Y'all come ready with questions. And if anybody has any suggestions, please, if you're on our list, just post it and we will look at it.
Miss Rachel, we're
Or
looking for you.
just say, just send, go to ibugtoday.com and go to the Android Insight tab, and you can actually sign up there to our list, or you can find our contact information there as well to send a question. And I want to say thank
Ava.
you. And thank you, ACBT community.
Thank you, ACV. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Cindy.
Thank you, everybody. Stay well and be safe.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you're going to find us, right?
I already did. You check
Okay.
your email. I got it.
Okay. Well, we're going to find you, and I'm going to help you out. Don't worry about this. We got you.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
All right.
Thank you, Ava.
Thank you, Hershey.
Thank you, Sandhya.